Hello, everyone. Welcome to Popcast on the Rocks. This is episode 60. We're a podcast here about talking about pop culture and things we like that are related to. My name is John. I'm joined by Andrea. Thanks again for being here.
Of course. Where else would I be on a Friday night? This is the happening place.
I don't know, clubbing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely as a new
Yes.
mom, my only other option between podcast is clubbing.
Yep. hmm Yep. I mean, I've known people that do it, or at least seen them on TV. So
Right. Yeah. I always and now that I'm a mom, I find it interesting when TV shows depict parents like going out to like the club or whatever, on a weekend. I'm like, where are your kids? Like, do you just like have babysitters like on the ready all the time? They're just like,
maybe.
yeah, let's go to the club. Let's get out.
Yeah.
Like, I've got a 4-week-old baby, but who cares?
Well, yeah. Yeah, babies, that's definitely a different story. I was gonna say,
When it's kids,
reference
I get
any
it.
yeah, reference any anime for like where parents are just not existent
Yep,
half
they're
the
never
time.
there.
So yeah, anyways, if this is the first episode you've ever tuned into, welcome for the big 6-0. Nothing out of the ordinary, just greatness like normal. But later we're going to be talking about the movie The Woman in the Window, that is now on Netflix based on a novel of the same name, I believe.
hmm
And prior to that, we'll catch up on our weeks a little bit and then cover a bit of news. And you found quite a bit. There is stuff happening. There are things happening.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a busy little entertainment world out there.
yeah. But anyways, what have you been up to this week? We normally do the Wednesday show. You got a couple
Yeah.
extra days to do something.
That's right. That's right.
Not
I spent them well, I think, because I progressed a little bit in Res Evil. So
okay.
for those of you who haven't tuned in before, we have both started playing Resident Evil Village, which was just released, I believe, May 7th or 8th, early May. So I'm now deeper into the old village. I still haven't gotten to the castle yet.
Okay.
But I have had my first couple of encounters with the creatures. I guess we'll call them, to not spoil anything for anybody who wants to
Okay.
play and be surprised. But yeah,
Okay.
so that's been a bit of fun that I've been sneaking in, when baby's taking a nap and whatnot. Um I've also watched more of Netflix's Shadow and Bone, which has continued to be, in my estimation, a great series, even if it has diverged a little bit from the books. Um,
hmm
I'm not quite sure why this divergence, was added, because it's
Sure.
a couple of different characters that weren't in the books that are now in the series. And I'm not sure, even if the storyline is good, I'm not sure what they're bringing yet. So, kind of staying
Okay.
tuned to see where that edition is going. Um, and then watched some Castlevania. I'm about halfway through the 4th season, so if anybody else is farther, no spoilers for us, please. Um, and then I read The Jane Austen Society, which was like a cute little book about the formation of a society in England, dedicated to the preservation of like Jane Austen's cottage where she lived and wrote, and like the things that were in there, that somebody else was trying to auction off. And it was a cute little novel based, kind of partially in reality, because there is such a society. And she does have a house in England that's, dedicated and preserved to her life. I have not been, but I've been to a similar place for another writer, when I was over in England on one of my research trips over there. So that was kind of fun, just to like, it was very light reading. Just speaking to kind of some of my other academic interests, but I would definitely recommend it. It's not only a cute book, but it's also kind of fun to see how these things happen, like kind of behind the
Sure.
scenes. They actually give you like the legal, um, background of like, okay, this is how you form like a charitable trust. Like this is kind of the board setup that you have to have. So if anybody's ever interested in doing something like that, this book is a good little guideline. So yeah,
Are you going to do it? Is there something you'd be interested in?
yeah. I mean, if the right thing came along, I suppose I would. But I feel like everything I care about right now, anyway, already has like
It's
charitable
kind of
trusts and
tended to.
preservations. Yeah. Yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, obviously my academic interests lie far in the past. So, usually people have already got that covered.
Right.
More recent things like, you know, I'm a huge Metallica fan. Well, they've got, 20 different, groups and fans and they're all,
Yeah.
buying up Metallica stuff and putting it in different places around San Francisco where the band is based. So, can't do much
Yeah.
there. So we'll see. We'll see if something in the
I
future
suppose
like pops up.
you have to care about something that most others don't.
Right, exactly.
So
Kinda has to be
that's the
unique.
feeling. Hmm.
And while obviously Jane Austen isn't considered, unique now, at the time, that this society was formed,
Right.
it was. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, you did get quite a bit in then. How much
Mhm.
more of Shadow and Bone do you have then?
Just 2 episodes. They're a bit
Oh,
longer, so, um, I'm not quite finished with the series. It's only an 8-episode series, but yeah. Yeah.
okay.
I'm getting there. I'm getting done.
I'm hoping to get to it as well, so we can talk about that one.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. I would highly recommend it for anybody. I would definitely suggest but not require reading the books first because I feel like it gives you a nice background of
mhm,
the way that this um magical kind of society is set up, or this like supernatural, I don't ever know what to call that. Is it like mystical? Is it magical? Is it supernatural? There's some like elemental design and, magic sort of element to this world. So,
okay.
yeah, regardless of what you
But
call it, it is a good help to you as the viewer to understand how this all works if you read the book, but it's not necessary, like, thinking about it.
I and I can bring that perspective then of the ignoramus that didn't read the book, and then, like, the show still needs to do its job, it
That's
doesn't
right,
have a
that's right. Can't leave you in the
prerequisite, so,
dust. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, and we can get into that a little bit too later because I don't believe that you've read The Woman in the Window by AJ
right,
Finn, and I have. So,
okay,
yeah, we can discuss that
alright.
a little bit later too.
Yeah, well, I did do some reading this week, but it was, like, light reading, manga reading,
All right, what have
which,
you got?
some of them are more wordy, but, not these. I read volume 1 of Goblin Slayer,
Okay.
which I don't know that I
Self-explanatory
recommend.
or
Yes, it's hardcore.
okay.
Like, is very hardcore, very, very adult. Um, I don't know that I'll keep reading it. But it's well drawn and
Mhm.
it could be interesting. It's hard to tell after one volume, I
Sure.
guess.
Sure.
Um, and then my favorite manga ever is we talked about on the show before. Maybe shared a couple pieces of art from it or whatever. But um, it's spelled blame, but I guess pronounced blam, to my understanding.
Oh, okay.
I could be
Because
wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know.
interesting.
Um, but it's really, really good. I've read all the volumes on digitally on like the iBook store. I bought them. I kind of want to buy them all physically now.
Mhm.
Um, and but anyways, there's some new volumes, new to me that I didn't know existed before. So I picked up two of them digitally. One is like a comedic spin-off, not in canon or whatever, where they take these characters and put them in like a high school environment or whatever. So it's just completely silly. I didn't read that one yet. And
Okay.
then there's another one that's sort of a prequel, which I'm worried about reading, but I didn't read that
Oh,
one yet either. And then I picked
Okay.
up physically the Electro Fisher's Escape. And this is actually the other way around. It's based on the anime that I believe is on Netflix. So they did the
Oh,
manga and then they made a story that's separate. It takes place within that. That's a animated movie
okay.
on Netflix called Blam, Blame, and they adapted that into a manga then. And to
Interesting.
my understanding, yeah. And so I had seen the movie, and so when I read through this, I did like remember a lot of it, but I guess I prefer so manga being black and white,
Hmm.
like having a lot of that stuff. I just feel like there's more left to the imagination there that I like that
Hmm.
I don't need filled in the animated version
Okay.
for this. So, but I really enjoyed reading this, and it inspired me so much that um yesterday I spent most of my afternoon after I got like stuff I really needed to get done, um, writing a one-shot D&D campaign based around this world.
Oh,
And
cool.
with the hopes I was going to play it last night, but then that fell through. So, um,
But is it
but
something you
it's
can save
ready
for
now.
another night
Yeah,
or?
yeah,
Okay, all
it's
right.
ready. I was wondering, it's like maybe that's one we should play on stream or something. You know,
Yeah.
it's untested. I have no idea if it's any good or not, but yeah, I spent hours anyways on one day doing it,
Mhm.
so it'd be fun to do.
Yeah, I'd love to test it
Um,
out. So I'm sure
yeah.
it'd be fun to, you do talk about, obviously D&D a lot because you've got, your weekly playing. But yeah, we haven't really done anything, or I haven't like gotten to get in on the action at all. So it'd be fun to like
Mhm.
get a sample of what you do for D&D.
Yeah. I'm worried about doing it on stream. It just, you know, takes away, I feel like it takes something away, or you really have to pretend that the stream's not there at all.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Hey, I've got
yeah.
plenty of experience of that. That's just theater. That's just
Hmm.
ignoring your audience. Don't break that fourth wall.
Hmm. Well, maybe when we have our discussion with DM people, when
Yeah.
we play it then or something like that, see if
Yeah.
they're interested.
Yeah,
So,
there you go. There's a little preview teaser for our audience. We're planning several episodes in the future, and one of them will be a talk with a couple of dungeon masters talking about D&D and how they approach that. So, yeah, that'll be fun. I think it'd be a great you know, fun little example of everybody. Be interesting to have D&D play with like only dungeon masters. Well, and me.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
see how it goes for people who are used to being in control.
Mhm. Well, I mean, I love well, one of the people we're hoping to have on, she has mostly played versus
Okay.
DM'd. So,
Okay.
and I don't know about the other one for sure.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I definitely like I love doing it, but I would also like to be part of a campaign where I'm just a player too. Like
Sure.
it's been a while. So,
Sure.
other like manga animated related stuff, I just started Clannad last night. So
Excellent. Excellent. Just like one or two in, I'm
two
assuming.
episodes, yep.
Okay, yeah.
And it's it's very weird. Like I really
Mhm.
like it so far. It's promising, but yeah, I it's so
Yeah.
quirky. Like I don't know what to think. Like I don't know. I like it though. It's just very weird.
Yeah, it's
So
it's kind of an odd pairing of like a slice of life with some sort of supernatural, very it's like a supernatural mystery, but it's also like very foreboding. There's like some sort of like
sure.
clear Do you know what I'm talking about? Like with those cutaway shots to that girl who's like in the room by herself and she's like, I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
There's Yeah, there's something to that that obviously, being only a couple episodes in, you don't get where this is going.
Yeah.
So it's a very odd juxtaposition against each other. But
Well,
yeah.
it's just some of the weird responses. I swear
Yeah.
they're just like high when they're writing it or something, I guess, because like he goes and tries the one weird pastry and
Yep.
then the person just runs out crying and then they end up in with the family there and then he's being called an idiot, right? Oh, you don't look so smart. Like they're just very weird people,
Yep.
and the time when
Yep.
he gets his like takes the knife away from the one girl, like I'm just gonna, like here, high five me. I know your hands hurt, and then it doesn't. It's weird.
Yes,
I don't want to like talk about it all for people if they haven't seen it. I'm not gonna say any spoilers, but if you've seen it, you'll get what I'm saying. It's
for sure.
but yeah, I'm excited to continue. So
Same.
yeah, we finished Castlevania and eagerly anticipate talking about that in full spoiler detail next week.
Yes.
Um got into some more Resident Evil. I don't remember where I was when I last talked about it on stream.
You had just entered the castle, and I think you said you'd done like a few puzzles perchance in there,
Okay.
but you weren't very deep into it yet.
Okay. Yeah, I'm out of the castle. I don't know, I feel like I'm probably halfway or something like that. So
Okay.
but this game, I mean, I heard earlier that some people were saying it's not going to be scary or something, or it's not that scary. So far, it's scary. Like it's harrowing. Like I definitely edge of my seat. So
Nice.
yeah, I
What
think very
what are
well
you
done.
playing on, by the way? Are you playing on like normal, easy, or hard?
Just normal, yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right. I was just
Yep.
curious.
Yeah, I always defaults to that.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever like brought it down to easy mode, though I should sometimes probably just when there's a game, that's what I'm just not in there for challenge. I'm just there
Right.
for story. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, I kind of felt like, yeah, I wasn't gonna go like from the get-go, I wasn't gonna go on the difficult level, but I didn't really want to set it to easy just to get through it either. So
hmm Yeah, I mean, I feel like I could manage hard on this because it's usually not the in this kind of game, it's not the combat or something like that that gives me an issue. It's just missing a clue or a place I'm supposed to go or something like that.
right,
That has
same.
me kind of like running around a bit. And then when there's games that you need to kind of run around and look around,
Mhm.
then and it's really scary or like your supplies are low or something like that, you don't really want to do that. But
Right.
that's what you need to do. So,
Right.
but
Yeah,
no,
I feel like I lingered a little bit long, or I'm lingering a little bit long in the village because I feel like I'm missing something, you
mm,
know? Like, that's how I always
there's
feel with, like, Resident Evil. Even in, like, when I go back and play Resident Evil 4, like, I still, like, linger in the initial village probably way too long because I'm, like, trying to search out every little, you know,
yep.
side quest or, like, treasure thing that I can find, so
I feel like on a game like this, where it's not really going to be the side quests and stuff, I feel like a lot of that stuff is better left for the second playthrough.
Mhm.
Sometimes a
Mhm.
game like this that really feels good going through it fluidly if you can,
Right.
then you're
Mhm.
stuck in the like the even pacing of the horror and the thrills and stuff. Whereas if you end up dawdling too much, you start losing that
Thread of the
pacing and that
story.
urgency.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Mhm.
So,
Alright, I hear you. I'll
yeah.
hurry my butt up.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Alan's giving it a tip here. Definitely use the map to determine if you've gotten pickups from the room. Yeah,
Yeah,
the map is very handy. Yes.
I yeah, I just found that feature and figured that out. I really like that. That is super helpful because I am the person who's always like circling back to be like, oh, maybe there's like a corner over here, like, you know,
Mhm.
I've got like a secret room I found or something, and it's like now they've color coded it to show you, okay, you've got everything that's here, so
Yeah.
that's nice.
Yep. Yep. I would like to. I mean, it would be fun to have you streaming it and me be able to see your reactions to some of the moments later. That'd be
Yeah,
pretty fun.
there was definitely some cursing when I first encountered some of the creatures. So yeah, we'd have to
Yep.
warn everybody. 'Cause I have no filter on that, but yeah,
Mhm.
I can see what I can do on streaming. So
Yeah. Well, I was always like, you know, sorry to the sailors, cursing like a sailor when I play video games. But honestly, that I've played, and here's the plug, I've played with my brother-in-law, Lucas333. That's Lucas with a
Mhm.
K on Twitch. And he does a family friendly stream. So
You gotta watch
I,
yourself.
yeah. And so it's been proven that I can do it. So
Okay.
that's really like cleaned me up because otherwise, yeah, it definitely was a habit where it's just, yeah, that's
Yeah.
because I don't normally curse very much otherwise. Like
Hmm.
I use words, other ones, but then when you're just like, you know,
Yeah, when it's like
frustration or something, you know?
right, or when it's like that jump scare. And
Hmm.
yeah, something that you're just like not quite ready for, even though you
Yep.
know, like I play on like the edge of my seat, like knowing like stuff's gonna pop out and I'm gonna have those cutscenes where something like bum rushes me or something, and it's still a surprise to me somehow
Yep.
when like a creature actually
Yep.
comes out and I'm like, ah, shit.
I
So
was playing RE2 remake when Ashley's parents were over once and dropped the F bomb at something that just
what?
jumped right in front of me or whatever. And they just thought it was the character in the game. They didn't
Oh,
realize it was me.
nice,
So yeah,
nice,
I
good cover.
I ruined it then. Someone brought it up, but yeah. Um, yeah, I guess the rest of the week was just busy planting trees
Sure.
and making some bread and fix the roof today and all that kind of thing. So, but yeah, that's about it. So, work week winding down. You've got your drink there. It doesn't look like either
Mhm.
of the days
No,
not
it's not.
celebrating the holidays.
No, it's not. So yeah, so this week we had two drink days. May 15th was World Whiskey Day, and May 16th was International Mimosa Day. I do not have either of those, but I kept my drink on theme for the night because Woman in the
Oh,
Window.
okay,
I mean,
okay,
it's almost in a character in and of itself, red wine in this film. So I was just like getting into our main character's,
okay.
viewpoint
I
there.
see. I see. Yep.
So I'm assuming
Uh,
though that you are celebrating perhaps World Whiskey Day from the glass
yeah,
I
I
caught a sight of earlier.
no, I put my mimosa in rock glass.
You know what?
Yeah,
You got to be unique.
I know. I no, I'm on page with Dorit
Oh
from
yeah.
From the Housewives.
Everything in its proper glass.
Yeah, you don't give me I don't know what it was, champagne in a
Champagne in a wine
Collins
glass.
yeah, something. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
The only
Yep.
reason I remember that so clearly right now is because my mom was visiting recently and was helping me take care of the baby. And she had noticed whenever she came over, I was watching like Real Housewives. So she was like, I have to like sit down and find out what you find so fascinating. So I was like going back and showing her some Beverly Hills highlights, including
Nice.
like season 5 and a couple of the newer, Dorit Teddy moments. So yeah, so that was one of them we would
So
watch.
Beverly Hills just started again, right?
It did. It did. I have watched the first episode.
Okay, we're behind. Maybe we'll get to it tonight. I don't know. We're falling behind because honestly, some of the
They're kind of
Housewives stuff
running.
has
They're running like hardcore concurrently right now. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like it just feels like
Well, a
like
lot of
seasons on
wrapping
top
up.
of
Yeah.
seasons. Yeah.
Hmm. Yep. I just like Atlanta largely was less interesting to me this year.
Sure.
Um, New York, we did get to see the premiere of that now.
Okay.
Um,
Yep.
and it's like, I don't know how excited I am to see these ladies again,
Yeah,
you
I'm
know?
I'm not I've watched all 3 episodes now, and I'm not really feeling it. I think
Mhm.
there's also something that, is less interesting in the fact that there's less of them. There's only 5 housewives.
Sure.
So, like,
Mhm.
you see so much of those 5 housewives. You don't really get, like, a variety of, where, like, Beverly Hills, I think, has 7, 8 or something. You know what I mean? So it's just like, oh, it's only
Yep.
you 5 people.
Yeah.
So if you're
I
not
feel
an
like New
interesting
York and
storyline, it's
Orange
like,
County
yeah.
New York and Orange County need a rescue somehow. Like,
Mhm. Sure.
it's just not. So, I don't know. I think that's kept us from going through it or, like, getting into it as much here. Um,
I
but
would
yeah.
I would recommend Beverly Hills. It's starting off interesting, and of course this season is going to deal with, Erica Jane's divorce and obviously the
Yeah.
allegations of fraud against her husband and stuff like that. So I think it's going to get good. Um and then I am already loving Garcelle this season. She is just like
Okay.
here to be sassy, here to like, whip some ladies into shape, and I love it. I dig it.
I did like her inclusion last season.
Yeah, and it
I
seems like
generally liked her.
yeah, it seems like she's got less on her plate so she can be a bit more part in this
Okay.
season. So I dig it. So I would highly recommend
Okay.
watching Beverly Hills. Um
Yeah, we'll get there for sure. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I would definitely prioritize it probably over New York. Although you do
Yeah.
have to see what I was talking about last time, that second episode, that Burning
Okay.
Man
Yeah.
weird dinner.
Yep. We'll get there. We probably will first and foremost attempt to finish Jersey because I think we have
Oh,
one or
sure.
two episodes and then reunions, and we were been loving Jersey,
Sure.
historically do so that one, and then yeah, maybe Beverly Hills. Um, so yeah,
Excellent.
excited. So much TV that we have ridiculous now. Did I tell you we get MTV now?
Oh,
It
really?
just showed up in our channel lineup now. It's been added. And
Nice.
so now, like, it's always our thing to go to a hotel. And then when we're there, we're done with whatever for the evening. We watch ridiculousness. Well,
Oh,
now
I
we have
love
it at
that
home.
show.
So it's going to ruin the hotels, I suppose. But it's good to see the new episodes and have them record.
Yes. Yeah, that's
So,
what Chris and I do at the end of a night to unwind is definitely watch
mhm,
ridiculousness.
mhm. I mean, so here, everybody, for your your pop culture show. That's what we watch. We sit and watch Housewives, ridiculousness, real
That's
quality
right. That's
entertainment.
right.
hmm So
Hey, you gotta balance out some of, like, the critical acclaim, like, deep shows
yeah,
with, just some fun, light, kind of fluffy entertainment as well.
yep. Do you ever watch What Happens Live then
Yeah, for
after
sure.
Housewives? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I
We
mean, if
watched
I'm if
the
I'm
one the other week.
interested, like,
Yeah,
sometimes I'm not
right.
interested in, like, the guest or whatever, but yeah.
Yep. They had one with all the husbands from Jersey the
Oh,
other week
okay.
or whatever. And they're just the greatest group of guys. Like, more of them on the show would be good
Yeah.
because they get along and they have a good time and they are silly and stuff.
I have
It's
heard
really good.
that. I have heard that also about, and I've never watched the show, so I have no context for it, but I've heard it also about the husbands of Married to Medicine. Apparently, they're all like
Interesting.
super great friends and they just like hang out while the ladies are on camera and they just like do their own thing. Like they have their own like barbecues or they'll be all in the kitchen just like cracking
Nice.
jokes with each
Yeah.
other and stuff. So somebody was saying like they need more of the husbands on that show.
Yeah.
So 'cause yeah, I mean, even
I
though they're not the focus, sometimes they can really, like, bring something good to the show.
yeah. Well, you want the trash, but you also want fun. Like it's when it's too
Exactly.
much and the ladies are fighting too much, it's good to have that break.
Mhm.
Um, so
Absolutely.
I've not ventured outside of the Housewives on Bravo, and I plan to not
No, I
because
haven't
it just
either.
yeah.
It's too much. I mean, like, you got,
Right.
like, obviously Below Deck and, um, yeah, Married to Medicine. Um, gosh, you've got
Southern Charm or something
Southern
like
Charm.
that.
I've watched, like, an episode or 2 of that, but, like, without starting from the beginning, there's, like, no context for who these people
Yeah,
are. Um, and I know they've got, like, Family Karma, which I
yep,
did watch.
that's
That was
newer.
interesting. Um, yeah, so they've got all kinds of different stuff, but yeah, Housewives is, like, kinda where my home is for Bravo.
Yep, yep. Well, anyways, to finish up on my drink in my
That's right.
celebration of World Whiskey Day, I have a whiskey from Cat Eye Distillery. It's a
Okay.
Polish rye whiskey, very like understated label and such for anyone that's
Oh,
viewing.
there I got it. There, it's in
Yeah,
focus.
it's probably getting blown out, but yeah, small batch kind of thing.
Mhm.
It's stored 8 years in oak barrels or in oak barrels. So yeah, good
Sounds
stuff.
good.
All right, news, news,
Mhm.
news. All kinds of things happening.
Yeah.
The first one I think is pretty darn big news.
Yeah, it is.
Um, AT&T is spinning out, dropping whatever you want to call it, Warner Media,
Mhm.
um, which so they're going to be still a 70% shareholder
Yep.
in Warner Media, but it will be a separate company. And then it sounds they will likely sell their shares and be out of the entertainment business for good,
Mhm.
AT&T,
Yep.
which I say hallelujah. I
Any
mean, we don't know
particular
the full.
reason?
Well, I think that AT&T is hasn't really helped the situation here since they've been involved. You know, DC and everything on Warner's side of things is not in better shape. It's in worse
Mhm.
shape. Um, Making money on these things on movies and television requires a lot of money that
Mhm.
to pump in to get those subscriber numbers now up. So it
Mhm.
takes the investment, and I just don't think AT&T is they're not interested in that anymore. It's losing them money, and
Mhm.
they're people that aren't involved really making decisions that shouldn't be probably.
Sure.
So yeah, and then we're getting Warner Media is merging with Discovery.
Yes. Mhm.
So we're getting a larger, better offering because it seems to me that's what's going to happen. You're going to have this consolidation because otherwise we are going to end up with a dozen like major player streaming services, and it's
Right.
just not going to be sustainable. So
Well, then it's just cable. You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's just different cable.
Hmm.
So
And I don't know that people will do it. you know
right,
you're
exactly.
going to have these other ones that they're still trying to compete by spending as much money on big budget things, and if they don't have the subscriber count to match to make up for that, then they're not gonna it's not like a cable channel in a way that it's gonna stick around,
Right,
that it
exactly.
can be sustainable. So
Yeah. It'll
yeah.
go the way of, Quibi.
Yeah, I have numbers from some of the streaming service stuff, subscriber
Oh,
rates.
interesting.
So like Netflix is number one at 207.6 million.
Not
Number
surprised.
two is Amazon Prime Video at 175 million.
Sure.
Number three, Disney Plus, 103.6 million. Number four, Apple TV Plus, 42.6
Oh,
million. But right there at number four is where basically everything gets really neck and neck. So
okay.
they're all within like a couple million there with Apple TV Plus, Peacock, Hulu, HBO Max, and then way straggling down there is Paramount Plus. So
Yeah, not
yeah,
surprised. That,
no.
obviously is the most recent, but also, like, I think, the least well rolled out. I just don't feel like
Yeah.
people really know about that at all.
Well, and like,
Also, what's on there?
well, is that Star Trek and stuff, right? Paramount and CBS. Remember, it was rebranded and all
Right.
that. So
Right. Okay, yep. Yeah. See, like, I didn't even know what was on there because
yeah.
that's how well they've done in advertising. I mean, I feel
Hmm.
like Peacock is just all over the place. I can't turn on my TV without seeing, like, an ad for Peacock.
Is
Um,
it? Is there bundles? There are a lot of bundles for that would account for subscriber numbers on that.
for
Like if you have
Peacock?
cable, whatever, yeah, and then all of a sudden you have
I
Peacock
don't
2 or something.
well, I don't really know exactly how they're categorizing their subscribers because with Xfinity, you get Peacock for free, but then you have to, like, pay for Peacock Plus maybe or some form of it is
Mm,
obviously subscription based and you have to pay a fee for. So I'm not really sure
yep.
if they're counting, like, because we have Xfinity and we get access to certain shows on Peacock for free, like, am I a subscriber because I have an account
Right.
technically, or am I not a subscriber until I'm paying for the,
Well, you would you
next
only get
level?
that because you have Xfinity, or could anyone do that? It's probably anyone,
I
right?
think I
Anyone
think
can.
anyone actually. It's just, like,
Yeah.
easy to, like, access the app through Xfinity.
Yeah.
Um,
So this is probably paid. I
okay.
just question because sometimes there's shenanigans, like the Apple TV Plus one. I
Mhm.
think, so many people are getting or still have a free subscription to that.
I do. Me right here.
Yep. So the determination
So am
there
I a
is,
subscriber?
yes, you are absolutely. But then the
But then
question
what
is
happens?
yeah, if you stick with it or not. So,
Yep.
I think that you know, Apple extended that. I think they may do it again or what, they want to do it long enough to like have enough things out there to get enough
Right.
people that they're
Get people
going to
actually
stick around.
hooked. Yeah.
Yeah. And Hulu is maybe a little deceptive because I think Hulu price points start very low
Mhm.
and there's also bundles for that. So I'm
Yes.
just saying it's not always quite as clear cut as the numbers show.
For sure,
Um
yeah. I wonder what we would be counted as because we have the Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus bundle. So are we a
mhm,
subscriber to each of those, or is our household counted
presumably.
once under, like, Disney because that's what we signed up for, and then we got the other two? I don't know.
It's probably so long as you have a login that's associated with a paid account
Sure.
for each
Okay.
thing.
Yeah,
But
interesting.
then so I was listening to Grace from Beyond the Trailer talk about it a little bit, and she is thinking that possibly, so if we get this Time Warner spinoff
Mhm.
that is HBO plus
Right.
many other things, um, and then adding on Discovery, so now you're getting like movies and television, and then like TV kind of
Mhm.
things.
Yep.
There's talks that maybe uh Comcast wants to get rid of um Peacock because
Oh.
Comcast, NBC, Universal, all that and stuff. Like,
Uh-huh.
there's this thing going on. It sounds like that these, AT&T, Comcast, they understand like they're going to have a hard time competing with
Mhm.
Netflix and then the big tech companies like Apple and Amazon. And
Sure.
so they're going to drown themselves trying to pay for enough content to compete. And
So
so,
consolidate.
yeah.
You've
So
got a shot there. Yeah.
they get rid of their weak leg and then let the media companies kind of come together and
Mhm.
you know, and manage something there. So
Boy,
I don't
that
know.
would be
Lots of
interesting.
things shaking and moving here. I'm
Yeah.
really interested to see how this turns out. I want to, I think that if we had like five really good premium things to count on, like that's pretty good.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, it's gonna be busy couple years in the streaming service. I think it's not going to go, to me it seems like it's not going to go the way we feared, where it's just like, 3
Oh,
dozen
yeah.
streaming services.
Right, right, that we just, like, ever expand and every channel has
Yeah.
its own streaming service. That's good, because
Yep.
then, like I said, what's the difference between cable and streaming cable? You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
why do I wanna pay for both of those? So,
Yep.
interesting. Yeah, that'll
Um
be fun to watch.
the other
See
thing I
see which
wanted
channels come
to
together.
like talk about there that I haven't seen. Well, some of the gaming press is talking about it, but there's kind of some questions in the air as to what's going to happen with the gaming division. So WB Studios for
Mhm,
gaming, there's like a couple different ones there, and they don't know. It sounds like it's getting kind of split up.
mhm,
And so these are the people that are responsible for, Batman games are the most known thing, but also I think Mortal Kombat, pretty big deal,
mhm.
and a number of others. So it's a little in question where those developers and stuff are going to land and how that's all going to work.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. And hope is in the air. Maybe they turn the DC ship around. New management.
God, I almost hate to say it, but can it get any worse? I mean,
Yeah.
isn't there only
Yes.
up to
Yes, it
go from
can.
here? Oh
Nope.
God.
Nope. Absolutely not. They're trying to go downwards right now. It's
Oh God,
they
poor
can maybe
DC.
pull
Yeah,
the yoke.
we'll see. They've got a few things obviously coming out in the near future. One of them being the next Suicide Squad. So we'll see.
Yep.
We'll see if maybe that can turn something around for DC.
Yep. Well, we might as well use it to go into another
Yeah.
topic that you'd found for later.
Mm-hmm.
The Batman animated series, huh?
Yes. Yeah, it's going to be premiering on HBO Max. And there's not a lot of detail that's known about it right now. We've just got a couple of things. We've got the title, which is going to be Batman Caped Crusader. And then we know a couple of people who are working on it, including J.J. Abrams, Matt Reeves. Um, obviously Matt Reeves' Batman with Robert Pattinson is yet to come. Um,
Mm-hmm.
soon, so we'll kind of get a taste of what he views Batman as, and obviously with the entire Gotham City world, we'll get a little preview of that. And then we just learned that Caped Crusader will be premiering in 2022. No hard
Okay.
date on it. No, like these are the amount of episodes that they're going to be. Um, or any sort of runtime or whatever, but it's going to happen in 2022. It's an animated series, and it's got apparently a noir vibe to it. But that
Mhm.
is all the
Which
hard information I have.
Well, it fits in line with the kind of film that supposedly Reeves is making for his Batman
Yeah.
movie. And then there is Bruce Timm's involvement,
Yes, that's
which
right.
I think is the biggest thing that has me excited. Being he's been involved in the animated
Hmm.
DC stuff so much. And
Yep.
yeah, they talk about it being brought together in the spirit of the Batman animated series
Right.
from the 90s, which is a spectacular show. So,
Absolutely.
not hold my breath, but definitely excited for this one.
Yeah, yeah, it'll
So,
be fun to see, as they move along in the project, who might be attached as far as like voice actors and things like that, or if we get a
yeah.
trailer at some point, because we've only gotten the one promotional image so far, um, which features a slightly different looking, outfit for Batman, but not anything too drastically changed that we can really tell, because it's just a shoulders up view. Um, Mostly it's
Yep.
the ears of the suit that look a little bit different, but
Yep.
we'll see.
Yeah. It'll be fun. I mean,
Mhm.
Batman's been told over and over again, but it doesn't
There's
get
always
old if it's
something
done
though.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then I thought, being weird spending so much time talking about television,
Hmm.
might as well talk about how it's all for naught in this new survey that you found.
Yeah. Yeah, survey
Yeah.
of Gen Z, and kind of what their choices are when they think of like, okay, I've got some downtime. What kind of media am I going to be consuming? Video games came out as number one, um, which I kind of found interesting after our talk last week about like, there's this like stigma about gaming and like other generations like being like, oh, you're a gamer, like, oh, why don't you live in the real world?
Yep.
Well, apparently Gen Z rejects that and they'd like to live in the world of video games. I think out of like the media choices that they had, I think like TV and movies were down there at the bottom at like number 4 or 5.
Yep. I think it's
So
number
they're
5 for Gen Z. Yep.
yeah, so they're not really interested in that sort of stuff. They're interested more in gaming and then
Music.
music. Yep, exactly. So I wouldn't have guessed.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. One thing the article had pointed out from Variety was that entertainment companies or whoever, they thought that, like past generations or something, they'll grow up and then pick up the same entertainment habits as the older generation.
Right.
So it's kind of goes in stages, you know,
Mhm.
where you maybe play video games and then you listen to music and you're all into your whatever heartthrob, and then you settle into watching the big movies, and then you settle into just watching your soap operas, and the news, or something like that, news and
Hey,
weather.
what's wrong
Um,
with soap operas?
yeah.
Oh yeah, I used to be a
Um,
huge like General Hospital fan. Man.
really?
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny, my mom actually used to watch 4 different soap operas and
Wow.
um gonna date myself here, but she would set the VCR to record the shows on a tape. So it was like, gosh, what was it? The Young and the Restless, All My Children, The Bold and the Beautiful, and General Hospital. So it was like 4 hours each day that she would record on a VCR tape and then like watch
Mhm.
at night when she got home from
Yep.
work. And oh man, boy, I messed up that tape one time. Did I freaking get it?
Oh,
Because soap
man.
operas, like, they only air once. They only air that episode
Yeah,
that day, and they don't have, like, backlogs of, like, "Oh, I'm just gonna
right.
rewatch this episode." Oof, man. Yeah, I never did that again, I could tell you
Don't they
that.
do it previously on, though?
They do, but it's, like, 2 minutes
It's
of,
not the same.
like,
Yeah.
quick highlights and, which I think basically is a lot of what operas are, like, the action can really be summed up in 2 minutes, and then it's a bunch of, like, people looking at each other. Do you know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like
Dragon Ball. Dragon
yeah.
Ball Z.
It's
What
like
they
a
do.
plot point, and then everybody has to, like you have to, like, quick camera frame everybody to get their individual looks and whatnot. Um,
Mhm.
but still, like, it was very important to my mom, and yeah, I,
Yeah.
will never forget the time I messed up that tape.
No spirit bombs for 5 episodes, though, says Alan. That's right. You gotta build up to that.
That's right.
Um, well, it's, my mother-in-law, and it's her birthday today.
Oh,
Um,
happy
she
birthday.
actually Yeah, she actually watches one as well. I think it's Young and the Restless. I always forget if it's
Okay.
Young and Restless or Bold and Beautiful. I think it's Young and Restless.
Well,
And
Young and the Restless has a tie to this show in the fact that, they had a Real Housewife on Beverly Hills, Eileen
yes.
Davidson. Yep.
So that's the one. Ashley is named after her character.
Are you serious? She's
Her
named
name
after
is
Ashley
Ashley in that
Abbott?
show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's my mom still watches. She's pared down, thankfully, to one soap opera, but Young and the Restless is it. So she used to make me watch it with her. So I know all about Ashley Abbott. That is so
Yeah.
funny. I never would have
um
guessed
I,
that. Oh, I'm gonna like we're gonna have to like have some fun with that. I'm gonna ask her to like throw a glass of wine
yeah.
in my face or slap me or something,
Yeah. Okay.
just like on the
Yeah,
show.
I want to watch. I think it's that one because the game Control that I played and absolutely
Mm-hmm.
loved. The character's name in there is Jessie Faden, and I don't remember the actress's name, but it's her likeness in there,
Oh,
and
okay.
it's all motion captured and stuff. And that actress is now in that show, maybe even a couple of them. She's a character in the soap opera, and I think pretty new. But
Okay.
I've been wanting to like watch that and see what. But I suppose you say you can't rewatch them, huh? It's
Yeah.
just it's gone then.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
maybe she has them recorded. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like old school, Snapchat or TikTok or something, you know what I mean? Like it's that old school version where it's like it's there and then it's
Ephemeral.
gone. Like you never see it again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so that it's to hide the acting mishaps and
That's right.
yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, Gen Z enjoying video games, and you can
Hmm.
see how those numbers, like how television number. Courtney Hope. Yep, that's the person. Alan, that's the actress.
Thank you.
Um, you can see how the numbers for how important television and movies is to people consistently go down with
Right?
every age group. Um, so I think it's kind of interesting how everybody's spending billions of dollars
Right.
investing in television and movies, and
Right. As we're just
the
talking
future is
about,
gaming.
yeah, like these streaming services trying to compete for, viewership when it's like, should you
Yep.
really be?
Yep. And look, none of it's going away. It's the same as like
Right.
everybody thought music was gonna die. Music just changed. And if
Right.
music is now Gen Z's second favorite way to, or type of entertainment to consume, these things might go in waves and,
Right.
eventually. So yeah. Um, but yeah, that's that. Interesting survey. Good find.
Hmm.
Um, other television coming. What is I don't think I approve of this next one.
Yeah, I'm not really sure that I do either. If you're talking about the competition show that is going to be creating the first US based K-pop group. Um so yeah, so there's going to be a competition style show happening here in the US. And they're going to at the end of it create a K-pop group that will then be required to travel to Korea to train under like the umbrella of this, Korean based company. And then they will be the first US based K-pop group.
Are they ready for the beatings? Maybe the media attention
I
will
know.
allow them to they'll get a pass
Escape.
somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure how this is going to work. It's kind of it's another, singing competition show, but it's going to be different, obviously, in the fact that, like I said, they're going to be required at the end of this show to travel to Korea, basically be whipped into shape under this, entertainment management company, and then,
Mhm.
you know, deployed around the US to, yeah, start their careers off. And I'm just not really sure how that's going to mix, you know?
Plausible uh plausible conspiracy theory quarter time.
Okay.
Um the Korean government is heavily invested in getting the dispelling the idea that their K-pop bands and
Mm,
groups are
yeah.
harassed and
Right.
like malnourished and treated terribly and commit
Hmm.
suicide because of such things. Um, that they're working on and helping do this so that they can showcase then this group
Yeah.
coming and have cameras there behind the scenes and like,
Clean
look
up the
how
image.
great and wonderful this is. Yeah. Don't you
Yeah.
want to send all your preteen daughters to compete and to do this as well? I
Right,
don't know.
right. I mean, it's honestly not the most far-fetched thing. I mean, plenty of like individual movie stars or, directors or whatever with image issues have, done something to clean it up and show like a
Yep.
different side. Whether it's like a reality show or, taking on a different role or whatever. So, I mean, theory, but not like a far-fetched theory.
Yeah. And I like another question then
Mm-hmm.
is, so I always come at people. I don't come at them, but I just like I politely correct. I don't know. Maybe I'm being Tiffany Moon here. But when people call something that's just generally animated anime,
Yeah.
because it's
Hmm.
short for, is Japanese animation. Um, Now other people can come at me and say it's not anime, it's anime, whatever. But um, just
Is this
isn't
really K-pop?
K-pop Korean pop?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
is that defined by a type of music, or is it defined by the
Right.
country of origin, and
Right.
then
Right.
therefore their pop? Because
Right.
everywhere has different what's popular in their country
Right.
and is then produced in their country to be, I don't know, like to
Yeah,
me it doesn't
yeah. So
make
is
sense.
this like, if we have a US based group, is this like appropriating, K-pop, and is it truly
It's a
K-pop
boy
now?
band.
Right. Yeah, it's just like
It's an American boy band.
right, that happens to go to Korea
Yeah.
um and be trained by this management company. But still, is that enough to make it K-pop? Yeah. I don't really know. I don't know. I mean, I might tune into this for a little bit and see how it goes, but I don't really know.
I
It's a
mean, I
tough
feel like it'll be
concept to
entertaining
swallow.
potentially. Yeah, it
Yeah.
could be entertaining, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I
I've
mean, obviously,
yeah.
K-pop is growing, um, is a growing fan
Yeah.
base here in the US, and it makes sense for this type of show to exist now and to like test the waters and see, you know, if the US is ready to have like its own branch of K-pop, but
I just
we'll see if it's good
n-
or not.
now
Even
that
if
now the
if
more
it yeah, it might be interesting, but it might not be good.
the in sync is this.
Right.
In sync,
Is our K-pop.
it's not like K-pop is like I think what makes some of it different, and this is more honestly, I think with J-pop is like the giant groups of girls, you
Mhm.
know. It's like 42 girl, there's you know,
Well,
40
and
girls or whatever that are all in a group that, that kind of
this
thing.
apparently is designed to kind of be like that. So the winners of this competition are going to go and join, not they're not only going to go to Korea and be managed by a company over there, they're going to join an existing group that will have like 40 or 50 members that they then like kind of branch off into their own like different units, and then this is going to be like the US unit. So they're part of a larger group, but then they like break off into like, oh, it's like this
I don't like
four,
this.
five, seven. Yeah, it's very complicated. Um, and I'm not really sure what the purpose is then of them like joining like the larger group, unless they do sort of like end up intermingling with other members and, have like different kind
Is it a
of
prerequisite?
rotating sets, but I don't know.
Is it required that they are able to speak Korean?
I don't know. I know the article mentioned, and I should have, made a note about this or written it down or something. I know that they mentioned that they were going to be looking for Korean Americans, but I don't know that you have to like speak Korean, or if that will be maybe taught to you, or you just have to figure out how to sing in the language but not speak it, you know. Yeah.
If I was over
I'm not
there and
exactly
I had
sure all of
taken
this, but yeah.
Yeah, if I was over there and I had taken my lashings to be, left my family and whatever to do this,
Can't
and
date,
someone
can't
else came
yeah.
over here because from America because they won a competition, like, get out of here. What are you
Be
doing?
salty, yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting to this. I just think they're reaching for a competition and trying to do anything they can to grab on to the moment of K-pop fame here
Yeah.
while they can. And to me, it seems desperate and
Mhm.
unnecessary.
Yeah,
So
I think it's a dual, like, they're like you said, they're grabbing onto the K-pop moment, doing whatever's necessary to kind of get into that arena. But then also probably, trying to do like, okay, we have 50 million singing shows. What's something new that we can do? You know what I mean? Like what's a way that we can have another singing show because they're so popular, but make it at least a little bit different. And this is it. So yeah, we'll see. I have no idea. Um, I don't remember if the article said or not when this show was premiering, but yeah, it's happening sometime possibly 2021 or 2022. So we'll
Is it
see.
so? Kate, is it like two groups, male and female, kind of thing, or like how is
I
that
don't
breaking
know.
down?
Yeah,
Maybe, yeah, maybe that'll be part of it.
good question. Let's see. Men. It's a male group.
Okay. I was gonna say they wouldn't even get away with if it was female group.
Hmm.
The girls don't wear enough clothes. They wouldn't
Males,
put it on TV.
males aged 13 to 25, and they are going to be part of the Korean group NCT. Yeah,
Hmm.
interesting.
Okay. Well, nobody count on me to keep them up to date on this television show.
Yeah, we will see. Yeah. Oh, Big Hit Entertainment is going to be producing this. They're the
See?
people behind
Yeah,
BTS. So,
exactly. Yep. Image cleanup. That's what this
yep.
is.
Yep.
Um, let's see. Okay, so and I don't have a good transition, I suppose.
No,
Yeah,
just yeah, we're kind of moving away from entertainment, television back to gaming.
yeah, yeah. Summer Game Fest. So we have
Mhm.
E3 coming up very soon.
June 12th.
That's in, and then Summer Game Fest
Yeah, Summer Game
2
Fest will
days
be on
prior.
June 10th. Yeah, they're sneaking it in. So they're
Mhm.
kicking things off with a 3-hour live stream in which they're promising to, obviously reveal some um, new games that are in the works, updates on older games. They've got some like entertainment things that they're supposed to be happening. Apparently, like the band Weezer is going to be playing a new live set and kicking things off, which I'm not sure why, but okay. But yeah, so that's coming up here pretty quick. Just 2 weeks basically.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I mean, like all the gaming YouTubers and whatnot, they can't. There's only so many ways you can talk about the same rumors,
Right,
like
exactly.
over and over and over. So it's going to be fun
Exactly.
to see what we finally get. So
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, it's fun. It's nice that this is coming back now. We're back
yeah,
into like big gaming news and big gaming events, like you said. Obviously Summer Game Fest, but also E3.
I need to know where I'm going to be spending all my money.
That's
And
right.
2 weeks is the Apple event as well. So like
Yep.
we got to know. Got to
Yep.
know.
Take my money.
Yep. Um, Speaking of something that I don't have to worry about giving my money to, uh,
Uh, you're not excited
you a
about
fan?
Hocus Pocus?
Nah,
I
no,
am a
I've seen
huge
it. I have
fan.
seen it.
I'm a
Okay,
huge fan. I
alright.
had never seen it until last year, and then I just like became obsessed with it, and I think it's amazing.
Oh,
Um,
see, I thought maybe it was a nostalgia thing, you grew up with it or
no,
whatever.
I
'Cause
didn't. No, no, I didn't really get like the Disney Channel when I was younger, so I didn't get like Halloween Town and, Hocus Pocus and stuff like that. I've had to find that all as an adult. Um, but yeah, I watched Hocus Pocus and it was nostalgia in the sense of like, oh, these were like the movies of my childhood. Do you know what I
yes.
mean? Like
Yeah, the time
even
period still, yeah.
right, like, even though I didn't watch it, you can so tell it's got, like, a '90s stamp on it, like, the fashions and, like, the plot lines. It reminded me very much of, like, Casper, which I
Sure.
watched as a kid, so, um So yeah, so I love Hocus Pocus. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Um and Disney Plus just announced that Hocus Pocus 2 is indeed happening. All three women who played the Sanderson sisters, Bette Midler, Kathy Najimy, and Sarah Jessica Parker, are officially attached to the project, and um, it will be releasing fall 2022. So we will get that next year. So I'm
Okay.
excited about it. I'm not gonna lie.
All right. I mean, I enjoyed it enough. Yeah, I enjoyed it enough. The
It's not
first
something
one.
you watch for like the excellently written plot. You know what I mean? Like you watch it
Mm-hmm.
because like the actors in it are characters, and and for me, like I said, I watch it because like it's such like a 90s vibe that I just dug it. So it's fun without being like
All
over
right.
the top and too, it's campy without being like too far where it's like
Sure.
unwatchable, cringy, you're like almost embarrassed type of camp. I just thought it's kind of
Yep.
fun.
Yep. Sure. Well, there's one more story that
Mm.
I kind of just remembered that I wanted to squeeze in here.
Mhm.
Um, because basically, as I've said, Star Wars is essentially dead to me. But there's been some interesting things coming about. And Dave Filoni,
Mhm.
the George Lucas's right hand man for a long time, is now has now been promoted to the role of executive creative director at Lucasfilm.
Oh, okay.
So he is more essentially in charge now of this how the story where the story goes,
Mhm.
um,
Sure.
which could be a really big deal. It's possible that if he's given enough freedom, um, I keep getting my hopes up and then keep getting squashed. So I don't want to do that,
They're
but I
toying
have to
with
say,
you, John.
yeah, I had to say Dave Filoni is the person that should have been in charge from the beginning
Mhm.
of this whole new endeavor with Disney. Seemed
Sure.
like the logical person to be in charge of the story and the lore and the canon, the whole 9 yards. Um, we just had stuff recently with, you know, the idea was when Disney took over, they wiped out all of the previous expanded universe Star Wars stories to make room. So now that everything that came out, every
Mhm.
piece of content in comic book form and novels and video games, it was all canon. So they didn't have to
Mhm.
like try to weave through all this pre-existing
Right.
content and story stuff. Well, they already are changing things
Mhm.
and contradicting their own canon from the
Of course.
comic to the animated show. And then like one of the lead creative director person before was making excuses for it. So it's interesting that basically right after that we have Dave Filoni now with more creative control than ever. And
Right.
I I don't know.
So you're
Our new
letting your
hope.
hopes creep up again a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I hope
Yeah.
this time maybe they won't be squashed. I mean, you know,
Mhm.
much like DC, hopefully there's only one way to go and that's up, but we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see.
I mean, I think that, you know, if if they just left if Disney essentially left Alan asks, is he going to Kevin Feige Star Wars? That's what I feel. I mean,
Mm,
yeah, I mean that's to me the idea.
right, that's the
Um
hope.
yeah. That's they need their Kevin Feige
Right.
that cares about the, I feel like Kevin Feige maybe he's getting a little, high on his horse, a little big for his britches, little, choose your thing.
How could you not though? I mean,
Yeah,
when you look
yeah,
at what he's been able to, or what I guess
yep,
not only he, but what's been accomplished
right.
under his watch there. Yeah.
I think he's gonna bring it all to the ground. I think it's gonna crash and burn, but it might not be, and might make a few mistakes and learn his lesson or whatever. But I think that Lucasfilm needs that. They
Yeah.
need to have Disney needs to kind of leave them alone. Kathleen Kennedy make sure the numbers, they stay in the black and the numbers line up, and Dave Filoni runs the story. And if
Sure.
they do that, they have a real chance.
All
But
right. Well,
so
that's some hopeful news.
yeah, that's we'll
As you
see. Anyways,
smile.
yeah, it's a big thing. I thought I'd throw it in there. So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
All right. We're about to get spoilery
That's right.
about
Get into it.
The Woman in the Window
Mhm.
on Netflix,
Yeah.
based on the novel.
Mhm.
Um, what'd you think, Andrea?
I am going to have to agree with the many, many people on Rotten Tomatoes and kind of floating out there in the universe in their own individual, media for review, and give this a thumbs down. I did not
Okay.
enjoy this movie.
Okay.
Um, I was really excited about it because I loved the book, and in the book, I think the major twists and turns and surprises of the storyline were much better hidden. And so that made the
Okay.
reveals much bigger. Whereas I just felt the movie cut a lot of corners and didn't do a lot of that like nuancing and a lot of that layering to hide the surprises for the viewer so that you felt like you almost knew what was coming. At least in my opinion, knowing, the source material that this was adapted from, like I just thought there was a lot of telegraphing of what was to come, whereas in the book I was genuinely surprised by the biggest
Sure.
plot twist.
Okay.
So, yeah, I was disappointed, and I was disappointed that I thought there were a lot of big names attached to this project, and they all did well, I thought, in their casting roles. Like, I mean, I'm never going to be disappointed in Gary Oldman's performance. I'm probably also never going to be disappointed in Amy Adams nor Julianne Moore, but I felt like didn't have enough to do in this film.
Mm.
They weren't utilized enough for the amazing actors that they are. I mean, obviously Amy Adams had the most because she's the central figure. She, we spend a
Mhm.
lot of time with her, and I thought what she was given, she did well. But I don't know, I was just disappointed overall in this film. But that could be coming from, like I said, I enjoyed the book so much. So as somebody who didn't read the book, perhaps you had a different reaction. I don't know.
Yeah, I actually really liked it. I liked it a
Okay. All
lot.
right.
I was a little surprised to see after the fact the Rotten Tomatoes score and stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, and I thought, it seemed like some people maybe were tired of like if things hit too close to home for them, like they kind of locked themselves inside for a long time, and then now they're watching this show,
Oh,
and now this
interesting.
woman's
Interesting. I
locking
didn't even
herself
think about
inside.
that. Wow.
Um,
Yeah. Did
but
not even think about
no,
that. Huh.
I really liked it. I thought that it was smartly shot. I liked the way
Yeah.
that they managed to like they use the old films and stuff at times to be like looming over her as she's going through an episode, but she's drugged up and drunk.
Hmm.
I thought
Yeah,
that
that red
they
wine. The
yeah, I think
film's
that
other
they
character.
it's tough to do. You can definitely just like make an actor act and put a camera in front of them and have them go through, whether it's withdrawals or something, or you can make an audience feel that in some other way. And I
Hmm.
think that they did a good job of making an audience feel that in a different way. And I did like the performances. I liked seeing Gary Oldman as not a great guy again.
Yeah.
Um, when he slapped his kid, and it's like I'm ready for those moments when he's like goes off the handle. It's like
Hmm.
Leon the Professional kind of stuff or whatever. Yeah, I know this is
Yep.
like not to that extent, or
Right.
like the Fifth Element, but he can get wacky and zany and nuts. You know,
Yes.
you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Keaton kind of thing. But Yeah, I didn't see where everything was going. I know
Okay.
Alan had said he saw where the final big twist. Ashley
Right.
had at one point suggested, or she um figured the big twist. Um and but I felt along for the ride.
Sure.
And it wasn't too long, which was nice. It's like hour 42.
Mhm.
That was pretty good. And yeah, and they sold well, like that this person wouldn't be believed, that this
Yeah.
person has every reason for everybody to question her and that she is nuts and whatever. And I thought it
Yeah.
felt like old school in a way, like old school horror, like almost psycho in moments, getting the rake to the face and like just
Oof, yeah.
different kind of yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, so I agree with you on definitely some points. Like I also really enjoyed like the cinematography here. Like I had mentioned at one point, like, Amy Adams' character is sitting in a rocking chair and we're getting this like cool rocking frame as she's like remembering this interaction she had in her kitchen with Julianne Moore, and she's trying to like convince herself that it was real. And, just some of that kind of, very different and very interesting, placement of the viewer in her mind. I really
Mhm.
enjoyed. I liked that kind of stuff. Like you said, I enjoyed the characterization. I loved each of the actors in their roles. I just thought they needed to be there more. Um, so what I struggled with, again, having read the book, is obviously there's a lot more that you can do in 400 pages of a novel than you can do in an hour and 42 minutes of a movie, because you can take
Yeah.
4 or 5 pages to lay out a scene and describe a character's mindset, whereas like an actor has to just like telegraph that for you.
Yep.
And sometimes it just doesn't always work. But I think the thing that I was most disappointed in was, in the book we have this fantastic like cat and mouse between, and obviously we have the spoiler alert up, so spoilers, between Amy Adams' main character, Dr. Anna Fox, and the kid who turns out to be the eventual killer, Ethan. um they have this whole twisted psychological mind game going on, because Anna's character logs on to an internet chat forum for people who have what she has, agoraphobia. And she communicates with this forum of people and she tries to help them, even though, of course, she struggles herself. And she ends up developing a bond with one of the people on the forum, who turns out to be Ethan, who's like gaslighting her through, pretending to be this other person, and like kind of getting to know her most intimate secrets. He talks to her
Mm.
when she's been drinking and she doesn't remember what she's all revealed to him. She ends up like accidentally revealing all of her passwords, and that's how he's able to like get into her internet accounts and get into her house, and be there when she's just totally out of it. So we as the reader get this like great, very twisted psychological game that's unraveling in the pages that we really don't get in the movie. And
Sure.
that's where I said like the film cut corners, and I just wish in this for this particular element of the story that they hadn't, because I think it's really important to like set the scene, to get them interacting more, to like get this like sort of interchange between the characters that the movie just shortens, I think, to a detrimental degree.
Sure. I mean, I can definitely see how that would be a um because that was one element where I guess that it seemed a little bit of a reach where he would be able to summarize her so well and be able
Yeah.
to understand weaknesses and how to
Mhm.
get at her and everything. And so obviously in-depth over lengthier relationship online
Right.
would allow for that kind of thing.
Right, yeah, his whole, like, "The realtor told me your story," was, like, Okay. But
Yeah.
really, how much would you learn? I mean, the realtor's not going to know her like in depth or, very intimately. So obviously you get, her big tragedy of, she has an affair. She's trying to like put her family back together and she ends up accidentally killing them. Um,
Yep.
so that kind of thing you would get because that's just, like available to anybody. But like you said, you don't really get like the intimate details of her psyche or, like what her weaknesses are, what pushes her buttons, how
Yep.
to take advantage of that. So yeah, that felt a little
And
rushed to me.
I can definitely see this being a movie I wouldn't really care to watch so much after reading the book. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things.
Mm,
Even it's
yeah.
like The Sixth Sense. It's a great movie, but it's not the same when you watch it again.
Mhm.
Like you had the
Yeah.
twist, and even in this, I didn't see it coming with that her husband and kid were dead. That
Oh,
she
yeah.
wasn't talking
Mhm.
to them
Yeah.
this whole time or whatever, having the phone calls, and it was just a monologue with herself trying to cope with
Yeah.
everything. Um,
Yeah, I thought they
and
handled
then when
that
you
part
look
very
back, you
well.
can kind of yeah, when you look back, you can kind of see it. You wonder what's the deal with the spinning and the snow kind of
Mhm.
thing. What's that exactly? It's interesting how she's like at one point watching videos or something of her kid as opposed
Yes.
to like talking to
Mhm.
her or something like that.
Right.
But so and then that did well to add to the well, she's completely unreliable as any
Yeah.
sort of witness. So if
Yeah.
you were kind of on her side already or whatever, and then this comes through, obviously everyone that's staring at her and you as the audience like, well, yeah, you're cracked. I mean, of course,
Mhm.
you don't know what you saw. So,
Yeah, and that's where I think Amy Adams really got the chance to shine in this is like those couple of moments where, the characters and the camera are clearly arrayed against her and looking at her with such judgment. And it's just like, this juxtaposition between like this strong like kind of pyramid of characters who are um facing her, and then we get these solo shots of her just like slowly unraveling, and we're looking at her too kind of as the other characters, and seeing what she's going through and seeing her psychological breaks. And I think yeah, like the image that's on screen right now where these
mhm,
characters are all watching her. I think the film did that really well. So it's not
mhm,
that there weren't elements that I think weren't very strong. It's just overall, I wanted there to be more nuance to the story, and
sure.
I just like I said, I just thought the film kind of shortchanged itself a little bit.
And they did like obviously when they're driving the car and it's nights
Mhm.
and like there's a argument, you realize you know what's gonna happen there. That's happened a
Yeah.
million times.
Yep.
But then it's done well. Like she gets up and sees her kid and her, no cell phone service, and then she's trying to like melt some snow in her kid's mouth. That's sad and well done. And then
Yes.
they crashed the car in her living room with the lights
Mhm.
flashing and stuff that she can go and so that was like another nice set piece
Yep.
to have. Um and and yeah, I liked the the like landlord or whatever, the tenant,
David,
that
yeah.
David, that you're not sure what to think of him exactly. Seems like a really nice guy. He's going out of his
Mhm.
way to help and everything. But then then you hear like a crying downstairs or something once, and they start
Mhm.
adding on elements. So like, can you trust this guy? So you have another person that's suspect, and
Right.
then then he's not he's outside of his parole. He's violating his
Mhm.
parole. So adding to that, um,
Yeah. Yeah, it was
enjoyed
fun.
those things.
It was fun to see, yeah, Alan notes this is Wyatt Russell, the same guy who played, the other Captain America in Falcon and Winter Soldier. It was fun to see him in another role where you're just not exactly sure what to think of him, you
Yep.
know? Like or yes, also AKA US agent. Or
Yeah, and then
be
she
up on
goes
my
and throws him under the yeah, yeah, on your
on
current
my yeah, my
Falcon
career.
Winter Soldier terminology.
Exactly.
Mhm.
But yeah. Um, this was another character that I enjoyed. I just wanted to see a little bit more of, because again, in the book we do get to see a little bit more nuance to David. Their relationship gets to sorry, when I say their relationship, I mean Amy Adams' character, Dr. Anna Fox, and David, her tenant. Their relationship develops a little bit more, so that when, in the penultimate scene, he's attacked in the book, it's more of an impact for the reader, you know, where again, in this, um, it's impactful mostly because I think because he dies. And that
Mm.
sucks, especially because that's a lot of her proof, because he can kind of connect some of the
Yeah.
dots of what she's understanding has been happening. Whereas like in the book, it's like, oh, well, like this is genuinely sad because we like him as a character. So
I would introduce myself. Hello, I am the tenant, David. Would you say that I am David Tennant?
David
Yes,
Tennant,
you can say
yeah.
that. Yep. Um, yeah, and then she throws him under the bus. This guy is not supposed to be
Yeah,
here. It's like, oh
yeah.
man, that's not. And then
That
the you get this, yeah.
that
How she gets
again,
suspicious of him.
right. Again, more impactful in the book because they've built this relationship where she totally just like believes that he's a suspicious character and should be interrogated. Whereas like in the movie, they're really back and forth. Like, he starts off doing like nice things, like taking out her trash and, like understanding that she's agoraphobic and can't leave the house. So like, oh, is there anything I can do for you? Um, and then, she goes downstairs and hears the crying. She goes downstairs, reads his mail, and he gets upset with her. It's like this back and forth, like, ooh, is he nice or is he dangerous? What is he? And then
Yep,
suddenly he's nothing because he's dead.
yep. I though I still really like the movie because it is a movie that maybe could have benefited then from an extra 15 minutes. Like, I feel
Yes.
adding the chat room thing, you have 15
Yes.
minutes that you intersperse throughout the film of,
Yes.
like, having this extra relationship and seeing how she's another way that she's trying to work through,
Mhm.
everything she's going through.
Yeah, I think that would be really beneficial, not only, like I said, to kind of set up this, other element of the cat and mouse game between Anna and Ethan, but also, like you said, to see how she's trying to work through her agoraphobia, um, and how, that might lead to the eventual resolution of the film where, she's able to just like walk outside like nothing's happening. And I just didn't feel like there was enough of her getting over that and dealing with
Mm,
that to justify her being completely fine, seeing as how difficult it was earlier in the movie for her to go outside and how much of a
yeah,
breakdown that she would have even when she just like thought about going outside. So,
yep. Yeah, that's true. It was nice to see Amy Adams in some real clothes at the end.
yes, it
Holy
was.
buckets.
Yes.
I
Uh,
mean,
I mean, she had to be comfy shooting this movie. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
that's
Like
true.
she's
Mhm.
in everything's like 20 sizes too big for her, and it's like sweatpants and um, big house coat and giant dress shirts, which I think were all supposed to belong to Anthony Mackie. Like she's wearing the clothes of her husband and like,
Gotcha.
trying to like hold on to him
Yep.
that way. But even that, it was like Anthony Mackie's not that big. Like, can we just like get a real size for these clothes, please? Because if he
Yeah, I
was
don't know,
wearing
that
a
might
dress
be
shirt, it wouldn't hang to like her knees. He's not that tall.
yeah, I don't know how tall he is, yeah, Hmm.
So,
Yeah, I mean, if I was interviewing her for this film, my first question would be, "So, tell me, Amy, it, must have been long hours in the makeup chair.
yeah.
Long hours in wardrobe, am I right?"
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, but it sold it made more sense as it went on because, you're stuck
Oh,
in your house kind of thing, and, yeah, you're you're coping with all kinds of garbage, so
mhm.
made sense.
So Alan says Anthony Mackie is about 5 feet 10 inches according to the internet. So, and that's about like what Chris is. And that's not that tall.
Mhm.
Like if I were to wear one of his dress shirts, like it would not come to my knees. So just
Sure.
saying. Just saying.
Okay. Okay.
I know this is very nitpicky of me, but
Yeah, and I mean, I guess that makes sense. I didn't think of like, well, where'd you get all this clothes that's too big? I just
Mhm.
figured, I just bought the idea that I don't care how I look right now because,
Right. Right, of
yeah.
course. Like she's not going anywhere. And she obviously does, like we see in the movie, make an effort ish when her therapist comes over. She's
Mhm.
in semi decent clothing at that point in time. But yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Amy Adams is
Um,
approximately 5 feet 4 inches, which is my height. So yeah.
oh
So oh
my
my
gosh,
god,
you
this
guys should
story is mine.
cosplay. Yeah.
That's right. I am this story.
Wow. That's a lot of info right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't leave my house. That's why
Yep.
that's why we do the podcast this way. Chris Alan says Chris is Captain America question mark.
So we've learned that Andrea has had an affair and is agoraphobic and
Right.
was probably going to fatally kill some family members. And
Oh
it's too bad
shit.
because Chris is Black Captain America.
That's
Right.
right. Damn it. Hey, does that mean like if I'm Amy Adams, can I be Lois Lane?
I mean, we're mixing
Right,
universes,
we're mixing
you
all
know.
sorts of universes here. So, I don't know. I think that entitles me
That's
to
who
be
you had an
Lois
affair
Lane.
with, Henry Cavill.
Oh man, I know this is gonna earn me some ire from the media universe out there, but I do not find him that attractive. I mean,
Whoa.
he's good looking. I'm not saying he's not,
Whoa.
but he's just not like my type. You know what I mean? Like I can objectively say Henry Cavill is
All
good
strong and
looking, but
handsome.
boy, like if I had like a pick of the DC universe, he wouldn't be number one. He wouldn't be number one. I'm just saying. Like Jason
Well,
Momoa would probably be it.
yeah, I was gonna say I know who would be number one because I mean, I understand.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
understand. But
But
Henry Cavill's probably gonna always keep himself in shape.
yeah.
Jason Momoa does it for the movies, so you know.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see, I guess. I
But I
mean,
mean,
Jason Momoa's kind
you
of
know,
built his reputation though on being like kind of this like hulking figure. You know what I mean? Like he kind of reminds me a little bit of The Rock, where like he always is gonna have to be imposing in some sense. Like that's
I
just
think
part of
it's
his like persona. Do you know what I
yeah, but
mean?
okay, Alan, how tall is Jason Momoa? Because I don't feel like he's that hulking though either. I because Henry Cavill I think is pretty tall. Um,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
I guess
so
yeah.
see, and
Now
even The Rock isn't that tall.
I
The
know,
Rock,
but
he just is so
they seem
broad.
like it. They just like project it, you know what I mean? Okay,
Six
Jason Momoa
four.
is six
So
feet
he's probably
4.
taller than The Rock. Yeah, he's probably
Yeah,
bigger
oh
than The Rock.
yeah. But like there's just like this impression of like, like physical presence just because they're so like powerful looking. You know what I
Sure,
mean? Or perhaps part of it is that, like when The Rock is in a movie, like he gets like shorter co-stars, so then he just like by default
sure.
seems, you know,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Well, I mean, it depends who your is your man the one that can build a high-end gaming computer from scratch, or a man that likes to drink beer and throw axes.
Drink beer and throw axes.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
Oh, Dwayne Johnson is 6'3", so he is just shy of Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Now I have to know Henry Cavill. I'm sorry, Alan. And we're having you look up the most ridiculous stuff right now, but I'm so curious. Can you please? Oh,
Six
oh,
or well, geez,
interesting.
that's just hot and bothered ladies that go and meet him. And they're like, "Oh, he was so tall. He had to be like 7 feet." Okay, it wasn't 7 feet, right? It was like, okay, it was like 6, 7. Oh, it wasn't.
So,
Yeah.
like a weird thing, I feel like the broader, like and like thicker that Dwayne Johnson becomes, the shorter he seems. Whereas like when
Oh
he was
yeah.
like slimmer, he looked taller. Oh, Henry
Yeah.
Cavill is 6'1".
Interesting. I thought he was taller than that.
Interesting,
Interesting.
yeah. But I mean, they're all like relatively close to each other,
Yeah, I
obviously.
mean,
You know,
right. Yeah,
it's
it's not. Yeah,
except for poor
it's
Anthony
not.
Mackie registering 5'10".
Yeah, yeah, because Chris Evans, he was around 6 foot something,
Yep.
I think,
Yep.
too. Just, yeah. I mean, it's better than, yeah, I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah. Alan
It,
says they're probably all estimated anyhow, which sure,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Like I said, they're probably all like similar, very close, give or take 1 or 2 inches to each other. But yeah.
okay.
Anyway,
Well,
interesting side topic
I
there.
mean, we disagree on the movie, but we agree on who's best from DC Universe. It's good.
Agree. Agree.
Yeah.
Which is what's really important.
Well, that's really important.
Yeah.
I mean, see, but well, technically now,
Mm.
Dwayne Johnson is going to be in the DCU.
I know. I know. I'm very excited to see Black Adam.
So, yeah.
So yeah, so he'd obviously be my first true love,
See, but now we disagree again.
but yeah, I haven't seen Black Adam yet. So I was just
Yeah,
kind of going off of like who's out there now.
sure. Yep.
So, but yeah, anyway, to bring it
Okay.
back to Woman in the Window, with our Marvel superhero Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
yeah, overall, I just thought this movie could have been better than it was. Not that it was absolutely terrible, um, but overall, just kind of disappointed because I saw a little bit more potential in this movie, and I just don't think it quite delivered.
Sure.
So, but
Alright.
for somebody who didn't, read the book, I think this
Yeah.
movie was probably better than what I'm feeling having read the book. So,
So you give it a thumbs down, I give it a thumbs up.
all right. Ooh, disagreement. Exciting.
Alright. Yeah, that's, The Woman in the Window. Go
Mhm.
ahead and read the book or watch the film. Take your pick.
Yeah. Whose side
Actually,
are
if you
you
just
on?
listen to us talk about it, probably just don't do any of it because screw it now.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, if you have seen the film or read the book and you agree or disagree, let us know
Mhm.
your thoughts in the comments, either here on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, anywhere like that. And would hope you would follow us there as well and share out the video. If you watch this and you like it, someone else might like it. So share it.
Mhm.
Let them know. We're going to have more guests coming in the future,
Mhm.
all kinds of things happening here. So stay tuned. Um, Otherwise, we want to thank Killing the Flower, the band, for our theme song. They can be found on Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify. So go ahead and take a look at their stuff. Also, generally speaking, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm usually streaming with my brother-in-law, Lucas333. Mentioned him at the beginning of the show. That's Lucas with a K, uh, here on Twitch. We play some Fortnite, and then often towards the end of the stream, now we've been doing words, words with streamers, something like that. And basically, it's like scrambled words and scrambled
Hmm.
letters, and you have to quickly as you can find as many words as possible and keep progressing to the next levels and stuff.
Fun.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun for the chat to participate in and stuff. So
Mhm.
yeah. That should about do it for us here at Popcast on the Rocks for episode 60. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for joining me, Andrea.
Of course. Cheers, everybody.